Hi guys, MrRoflWaffles here. Do you remember what you were up to in 2015, 4 years ago? Because I remember. The memories, they just come flooding back. It's almost like I've got a video of a Rebellion press event that I did an interview at in 2015 when I had 100,000 subscribers. Let's roll the clip. Hi guys, MrRoflWaffles here. In the previous campaigns as well, we haven't really been able to fight Hitler himself. Him in cutscenes and things.
Like kind of...
Like fisticuffs. 1v1 me, Hitler, I'll wreck you.
Damn, it feels good to be a gangster.
I think it's safe to say things have changed a lot since 2015, and they've changed for the better. And one of those positive changes is that Rebellion, who I was interviewing at that event just as a fan, are now in 2019 actually sponsoring this video and working with me on YouTube content, which is a dream come true. So thank you to them for getting involved. We're going to be talking today about their sequel to that game that I was interviewing them for in 2015. This one's called Zombie Army 4 Dead War. And I figured today I would do a little video showcasing some early gameplay that I got to record and some that they provided to me as well at E3 this year when I went to visit them, and maybe put it on your radar as something to check out when it comes out next year in 2020. Okay, so to begin with, we get an idea of how the world has evolved a little bit since the events of Zombie Army Trilogy when we defeated Zombie Hitler. So there are new additions right away when we get into the safe house. One of them is you can upgrade all of your weapons now. So previously, you'd have a whole different arsenal of weapons that you could choose to either equip or not equip as you went through the missions, and you'd be able to switch them out and stuff like that. Now, you have upgrade trees for the individual weapons that will affect things like their ultimate abilities, which I believe the devs call weapon assists, and then you can also just modify their actual effects. So I think what Rebellion have done have taken some inspiration from what they did with Strange Brigade and basically infused that into the zombie killing that they've got in this game. So we head outside into this train area and we realize at this point that, okay, these zombies aren't just wandering aimlessly, they've got purpose again. So something's happened in the story, I don't know what it is, we haven't figured that out yet, that is meaning that the zombies are being kind of controlled and do have a kind of master, I guess, again. And this is the thing that I love about these games, is that the Zombie Army games always dabbled with the sort of stuff that got me into zombies in the first place. The satanic kind of weird occult side of World War II, and how all of these experiments were being done or not being done, depending on which books you read, to try and create undead armies and try and play with this kind of almost dark magic, this weird voodoo, satanic, occult weirdness that leads to all of these great stories. I mean, one thing that's really popularly played on it in pop culture is Hellboy, right? That kind of story's foundational pillars, the stuff that makes that story what it is the same stuff that makes Zombie Army games what they are. Like, I just love that kind of almost alternate history take on World War II and what could have happened in a slightly more fantastical world and all that sort of stuff. And that's what attracted me to the Zombie Army games in the first place, is that they really play with those sorts of themes, but then at the same time, they also have loads of just sort of silliness in there and lots of jokes and lots of kind of bombastic action. Like in this game, for example, you can like slide kill zombies. So you can slide like you would in a lot of games, but kind of knock them over and like destroy their legs just by sliding into them. And then also, if there are crawlers, for example, you can just stomp on them and get whatever stuff they might be carrying. If they've got a little bit of ammo, for example, then you'll get that by stomping on them. But then also, if there's just bodies on the ground, the devs literally say, yeah, you can just stomp on them as well, because it's fun. Like, I love that kind of approach to, yes, this has a gameplay reason for you to do it, but also at the same time, if you want to just mess around, you can mess around, man. And that's something I think Rebellion have always done really well with these games. There's also a lot of extra layers on top of the normal old Zombie Army gameplay that they had. So now, for example, you can do takedowns on zombies when you get 10 kill streaks. So you get a 10 combo. The combos in this game are like always running, and it's really satisfying to try and like chain those together. But a 10 combo means you can do a takedown. That's going to get you some health back. You've also got the weapon assists that I mentioned earlier. I'll talk a little bit about those now. So you've got different ones depending on what weapon you actually have. So there's a pistol, for example, where it sort of works like a kind of Deadeye. You can track targets and then you hit the fire button and it'll go bam, 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 and shoot all of them all at once. And then you can also upgrade that weapon assist. So you remember I mentioned the skill trees before. They also apply to the assists. So for example, you can add to the number of targets that you're hitting with that Deadeye and things like that. You've also on the SMG got one that gives you like no recoil, precision accuracy, and I think buffs your damage. There's a shotgun one as well. Like each gun has its own one, which is cool because again, the Zombie Army games before felt great to me. I really enjoyed the kind of action that was in those games, and now they're just adding extra layers to mean that you can still play them like you would play the old ones, or you can make use of all the extra stuff that they've put in there. There's also loads of like elemental things that they're doing in this game, so you can put elemental attachments on your guns. That's another upgradey thing that you can do, and that will affect, for example, if you shoot a zombie and your electricity is kind of charged up, it can stun it and then zap the zombies nearby it and things like that. But also you can find electric attachments in the levels themselves to kind of upgrade on the fly as you go through. So there's a little bit of mix and match there, and then they've obviously got things like shot grenades and incendiary grenades and all the sort of things that you'd expect from a zombie army game, but with that kind of extra elemental twist to them. It looks like they've also made some quality of life improvements as well, which is really nice to see. Obviously, it's been a couple of years since the last zombie army game, so you can now do things like when you get knocked down, revive yourself by getting a kill, kind of like a last stand type thing, which the previous games didn't have. And so previously, if your teammates weren't around, you would just be kind of screwed, whereas now you do have a little bit of a chance to get yourself back up on your feet, and it just means that the whole thing's a lot more smooth. There are also a bunch of traps as you go through the levels, and these are the sorts of things that you might not necessarily notice at first, but once you start hitting them, you realize what you should be looking for, and they're really fun to use as well, and kind of see how they've devised these weird little traps in the different areas. And in this one case, one of the devs was standing next to me and basically went, "Milo, that little thing that you're looking at right there, that's a trap, but you'll need to stand back when you shoot it because otherwise it will kill you." And then stupidly, I didn't stand back, and I died. So I should have listened. Another funny thing that happened actually was while I was playing, I got to this bit where there was like a little mini cutscene with basically just a person in the world that got blown up by a zombie. And I was like, hold on, that looks like, and I turned to my right, and the guy that they literally modeled that person on, one of the developers, is in the room. And I'm just like, but it's the same person. And he was like, "You're the only person that's actually spotted that one, Milo." So I thought that was pretty cool. Then when we got a little bit further into the demo, we cleared out like this massive area, and this kind of flamethrower zombie jumped over one of the trains and looked pretty menacing, but we didn't get to fight it, unfortunately, and that was the end of the demo. So, I mean, I'm itching to play more of it, and I think when this does come out in 2020, I'll probably end up doing some kind of let's play type thing and just going through the entire game, because I loved the previous ones, and I'm just excited to get back into the world. And one last thing I've got to say is the soundtrack for these games is so good. Just the theme is iconic. So let me know what you thought of this, guys. If you think that this looks like a zombie game that you might be interested in, then let me know in the comments down below. And also give me a shout if you want me to try and get some more gameplay from you guys. Maybe we can convince Rebellion to come and let me see a little bit more of it early sometime, maybe at Gamescom, something like that. So thanks for watching, guys. I've been MrRoflWaffles. I'll see you very soon in more videos just like this one. Thanks again also, before I forget, to Rebellion for sponsoring the video. Okay, cheers guys, bye for now.